If you needed any further evidence of just how manipulative, well, some people might say at least, the current status of the media with regards to the British monarchy and of course Meghan and Harry, who are floundering independently on their own, well, here it is. As ever, let me explain. Morning, nice to see you, chums. Thank you so much for joining me today. As ever, welcome one and all. Our new chums, yes, good. Are you having a wave? We have to, it's part of your initiation, absolutely. I'm hopefully going to do this before we get another deluge of showers. We've had nothing but showers. If you've been in London over the last couple of days, I feel so sorry for you if you're a tourist, because I was talking to a couple of people and they said they came all the way from Brisbane and they brought summer clothes. Big mistake. And I said, why? And they said, well, you know, the weather looks so nice. I said, well, that was a while back. Now we're into September. Always tricky, you know what I'm saying? Always be prepared when you come to London. Always be prepared, some people might say, when Prince Harry comes back to town, because manipulation is sure the name of the game, you know? And the problem is, as I've mentioned on videos, is that, you know, Harry and the communications team, they basically are celebrities, you know, celebrity team. That's what you do. It's manipulation of the media. They decide how they want to manipulate the media. And it's a bit like, you know, the sort of thing, they always do this stuff, right? When there's an album out, say the second album of a very successful pop star, you will find this quote on most of the albums. It's a lot more personal than the first one. I've really laid my heart bare on this. You know, the lyrics mean so much to me personally. Everybody does the same line because marketing and PR people tell them to do it. It's as simple as that. So they come up with the same strategy and think, oh, I might learn something about the person. The wise of us know, of course, it's simply marketing. Here's where this gets really interesting though, because as you can see, many of the tabloids are now in cahoots with Meghan and Harry. They've decided that they can get more, you know, direct access if that's truly what you want. And clearly some of them do. And by splattering the front pages with positive news about Harry's visit to the UK and how everything's hunky-dory, well, everybody apparently seems very happy. Or do they? You see, without even sort of touching back down in California, these headlines suddenly sprung up in the tabloid newspaper. And the problem with a headline like this, and this is your bigger problem on a serious note, you see, the problem that you've got is it leads you to believe that following that oh-so-secret but public meeting between His Majesty the King and his youngest son, well, suddenly Archie and Lily are going to be trotting over. And if you dig further into the piece, it says, oh, because he wants to be a grandfather to them. He doesn't know them. That's all down to Meghan Markle's cruelness at keeping, well, the grandchildren away from His Majesty the King and her very own father. This is not a woman with a kind bone, if you like. This is a woman who's seen opportunity. If she really cared about her children, why doesn't she share them with her father? Why doesn't she share them with a greater family? That's the darker side of the story. But that's not the mainstream media want to present as the narrative, you understand. So moving forward, this is really trying to push it in this particular direction. And it's so that, you know, you can think they got on very well in that short meeting, this happened, and suddenly now Harry, well, he's seen the error of his ways, and now, of course, he can present his children to the king. Now, as I said, he's had no problem here security-wise. There's been no kickbacks, there's been no threats on his life, and the mainstream media have been respectful about where he's been staying, to a point. And so, couldn't he have brought one of his children already? But that was the carrot dangler, wasn't it? That was the thing of, I'd like you to get to know my children. And so the Mail, very obligingly, have now followed through with the follow-on story. Now, where this gets really interesting, and I feel very sorry for the Prince and Princess of Wales, is, you know, the fact that, well, I get the two sides of it, you know. Obviously, King Charles doesn't want to never see his grandchildren. I get that point of it. But you have to look at the bigger picture. How does it look in the wider screen, the wider world? But clearly, he's thinking with his heart and not necessarily with the, well, the business side of things, right? This is sent out really as a missive to everybody to say, Harry's not briefed this, Meghan's not briefed it, but it's there, it's on the table, and look, we're good guys, we're moving forward. Now, when you think about it, if you are Netflix, you've paid all of that money and you are going to give away the children for a photo opportunity with His Majesty the King. How do they think that's going to end if they didn't think there was a further fetch attached to this particular idea? You understand how celebrity marketing and publicity works now? It's developing. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.